Hello and good evening. It's Monday and it's 8 o'clock. As usual, it's time for the late smoke. And this is episode 49. I'm just getting my cigar and I'm ready to go. So, I'll give a few minutes until everyone else is joining. I hope there will be some people watching live tonight. Hey, Adam. So, how's everyone? How was the week, Paul? How was the week been? Busy? Not so busy? Smoked some exceptional cigars? So let me just lit my cigar and I'll tell you what's the plan tonight. Hey, seen a bunch of people already in the chat. Hi, Anatoly. Hi, Tom. Nader, Dexter. Good to see the crowd here. Greetings from Ireland. Well, greetings. Never been in Ireland. One of the countries it's on my list. So one day, I know the cigar smoking is not ideal there, but so Adna's asking when the virtual herb's coming back. I honestly haven't planned the virtual herb so far. I mean, after I tried for a couple times. There wasn't much of interest. The first one there was a bunch of people. The second one was literally no one joined. I guess the time wasn't right for most of the people. I know it was in the summer. Um, I don't know if you guys have lots of interest. I can schedule something. I don't know. Suggest me some dates of the week which potentially can work for most of you. And when I'm back from my holidays, I can plan it. But again, I will do it only if there's at least few people interested. Again, it's last time I literally put all my schedules aside and I create the virtual herf, and there was literally no one join. Anyway, what I'm smoking tonight, um, it's a very good question. It's a cigar which I have absolutely no idea what is it, who made them, or anything. I mean, there's not many cigars like that, but this is probably some custom blend made for some shop or event or something like that. It's called The Nightmare Until the Lights Take Us. I mean, I know there was a documentary years ago for some metal group or something which was called something similar, Until the Light Takes Us. But this one, even the band look like it's been cut with a scissor and just put it on. Um, I have absolutely no idea who made these cigars. I tried to research in Google with pictures, with the names, no information. The cigars actually look really nicely made, so that's one of the surprises. Usually, when you have those type of custom blends, they're eh, someone rolled some cigars which doesn't succeed for whatever purpose, and they put them on a site as a white labels. This one have like four cups. It's like a spiral on the top. I'm trying to see. Yeah, there's like literally four cups on top. So the wrapper is really nice, tasty. The cigars feel very, very heavy. Size wise, 5 by 54, 52, 53, 54, that kind of stuff. I think it's not exactly 54, maybe slightly under the 54, but it's over 52. So Robusto, um, yeah, look really nice. Honestly, if you don't have this crappy label, I can definitely think this is some very well known cigar, someone made from someone decent. I found it in my humidor. I was sorting some smokes for my holiday in the next few weeks, and I saw that one. I was like, hmm, let's smoke it on the live. I was thinking I might smoke it tomorrow on the airport. Oops, this one fell. I don't know how this one fell. Anyway, so far start really nice. So I'll probably, if the cigars continue like that, I will probably enjoy it that much that I need to try to find out where is it coming from. I think I have it from some random sample from the US. So right, what you all guys smoking? Padron 2000 natural. My opinion on the natural is not as the same as the Maduro, but if you enjoy the natural, I mean, go for it. Uh, Doc Dexter is Hoya 200. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think you can find those unless you find some proper connections. We start yawning as usual. 200, what was that? Was released 2018, 19 during the COVID, I think, something like that. Or maybe I'm wrong, but I believe, I think, no, it wasn't during the COVID. It was 2023, maybe. I don't know. Good cigar for sure. Rojas Statement Maduro Robusto, very very nice cigar. I love Rojas. Even we're gonna talk later to in the evening about Rojas, but Rojas is one of those. If you guys haven't smoked Rojas, um, just buy anything. I mean, Tacos, Statement, KSB, KSG, actually, not KSB. But almost everything Rojas. I mean, even last year, one of the best cigars I've ever smoked last year was the 10th anniversary, which is, for me, it's one of the outstanding cigars on the market. Um, yeah, Statement Lancero. Blue Bonnet is a good one. Yeah, beautiful. Um, Anatoly's Oliva V. I smoked the Oliva V a few days ago on the review. Maybe you've seen it in the website. It was the V Torpedo. I believe was a quite old one because the cellophane was so browny and oily. A cigar was okay. The only issues I have there was it was a quite tight draw, and even, I mean, I know Torpedo should be a little bit tighter, but that was slightly more than I would enjoy. Even if I corrected a few times on the cut, and it was still quite tight. But except that one, V was quite decent, and I'm not usually V guy. Tonight, as an exception, I don't have a hot tea. I have cold tea. I have iced tea. This is a raspberry iced tea. Um, as a pairing, again, just as exception. Usually, I'm on the, I mean, I will brew a tea. I will put a pot of tea and everything, but not today. Right. So tonight, the schedule. There will be news section, of course. There's not many news now, but I think this is one of the most boring weeks on the news section. Usually, it's always like that after a big trade show, and Dortmund was just a week ago. So after Dortmund, after PCA, after all those festivals and trade shows, it's pretty quiet. But there's a bunch of stuff I can mention, and then we're gonna talk about some cigars in the selection. I got a few very interesting brands, few underdogs in tonight, and of course I need to yawn a few more times, as usual. Every time I do a live, I need to yawn. I haven't yawned all day. Man, when I'm on the live, I don't know. It's something. My body tell me, hey, every morning you need to keep all your yawning for the morning, evening, Monday evening. So everyone need to see you. Very interesting cigar. I don't think I can pin anything. I think there's a little bit of Dominican filler there. Recently, I smoked lots of Dominican cigars, guys. There's a couple people send me some samples, some projects to check and see how they are. And literally, I don't think I did that kind of session smoking only Dominican cigars every day, all the time. And I start picking up that very specific linger in my mouth from the Dominican tobacco, which before I have it as if it's olor, it's a little bit dry. But now that I don't know what's the tobacco even now, I need to find out because they don't want to mention me anything, so I can be objective and purely smoke them to see what the cigars are. But every time now I lit a similar cigar. Even a few days ago, I was smoking something Dominican. What I was smoking, and I literally pick up the same flavors. I was like, "Oh, this is Dominican." Then I checked; it was Dominican filler. So yeah, but this one I can't pin what's in. The wrapper is very dark, but it's not very oily. It's more of a sandpapery style, but it's not on a like proper sandpaper. So it's between. It might be Nicaraguan. It might be some very weird thing from other countries. Brazilian usually is darker. I don't know. It doesn't look Brazilian. I don't know. I won't try to guess. Unfortunately, I can't give you any information on the cigar because I have no idea what is it. But the cigar is good so far. Right. Let's move on to the news section. There's only a couple of news I want to mention. The first one, it's a very brief mentioning. One of the states in the US, Arizona, actually put the legal age of buying tobacco to 21 years old. I mean, it's nonsense. I said it many times before when some countries do stuff like that, and this is a state in the US. I believe there will be other states which will follow that. For a moment, it's just Arizona. But 21 is something stupid, so you can buy tobacco. I guess they want to unify it with the alcohol and stuff like that. But I don't believe if anyone wants to smoke or drink, he will wait until he's 21. I mean, in the States, you can just go in the other state outside Arizona and you buy cigars, you buy whatever. So it's a very weird situation. I hope in some point in the future, when somebody considers that kind of thing, they will just think more clearly that it's zero sense. It's you try to do something. I mean, you can sign to be a soldier in the military. You can sign into any military department and division, and well, when you are 16, 17, how that make any sense? So you sign voluntary to go and fight and potentially die, and then you can't just voluntarily buy cigars where there's not that many proofs that actually you can die from cigars. Chemical cigarettes and stuff like that, maybe, but cigars, there's no studies which can show you that. Anyway, I'll move on to the next one. This one again, I just mentioned it because uh, it was announced, but next one it's a very interesting where I think I might think more on that topic because anyway, we don't have so many different news today, so this will be one of the ones which we'll discuss more in depth. There's a cigar brand called Catam, Cattam, Catam cigars, which being announced they will make their debut in the US. So why I think this is an interesting topic. Catam cigars actually share ownership. So one of the owners is a cigar shop in Seattle, Rain City Cigars, and the other owners, a Hong Kong Cigar Limited. So it's a distributor, one of the biggest distributors in Hong Kong, pretty decent company, and it's described as a sister company to Rain City. So I don't know. I'm not sure if the Rain City ownership is the same as the Hong Kong Cigar Limited. Maybe they have something like that. But anyway, those two companies, we'll call them two companies because we're not sure if they're the same company. They launched the brand in the US. And why it's interesting because this is, I mean, you can call it's Chinese owned brand halfway, not fully, but halfway. And I've always tried to discuss when we're talking about the Chinese brands, what they're gonna do in the US, how they're gonna do it. So I think the approach those guys have to the US market, it's very interesting. It's very right, if I can call it that way. I think it's the correct approach because they don't just try to launch in the US market. Hey, we are this company, we're making this and that cigar, even if they don't use Chinese tobacco, they're not made in China, Hong Kong, or whatever Asian country. They actually partner with someone in the US. They say, oh, we're daughter's company, we're sister's company, or I mean, they own us, we own them, doesn't matter. But they launch with someone who is on the US market already, who can maybe look after them in the beginning in the States. So Seattle is in Washington. Maybe they will try to expand to different states. I don't know how big is this company, Rain Cigars. So it might be just one-off shop. It might be something with bigger approach, bigger catch. Who knows? The cigars itself, they're launching two different lines. Not much information where the cigars are made, but I think based on what's the information, maybe Honduras. Um, I won't be surprised if it's Dominican using Honduras stuff. So the blends are very very interesting. So they launched two different blends, Catam and Catam D. Um, I will explain. I will give you a brief information on the blends, and I'll explain why I think it's interesting. So the sizes total. Um, Boxes of 10 cigars and boxes of 20. The cigars are made by STG. Actually, there's a complete information STG. I don't know why I told you. I'm not sure where they're made, but yeah, they're made by STG in Honduras. So the one of the lines using a very very interesting wrapper, which I don't think I've seen lots of cigars using it. So that's a Honduran grown Connecticut seed. Um, I don't think it's a Connecticut shade. It's just Connecticut seed, so it's not a broadleaf. It's probably standard Connecticut, just not been grown in the shade. By the pictures, looks really nice. Tobaccos in there in the mixer, so very interesting blend. I like some of the Honduran tobaccos. I like the Mexican address, of course, and I like the Brazilian Matafina. So that will be very interesting combination. Um, the other one, the Catam D, or one with the red band, that's actually using Connecticut grown, US grown Connecticut as a wrapper. Dominican, and there's lots of Dominican and Brazilian. So they completely removed the Mexican from that equation and replace it with Dominican. So, but the wrapper is American. So there's nothing Honduran in this cigar. So the cigar is made in Honduras. Zero Honduran tobacco in there. I mean, interesting. Both same sizes, 6x50, 10 count, 20 counts. Prices $12, $13, which is pretty good. I mean, we all seen, and I keep talking about all the new releases, how every new company they jump on the market, they release minimum as a cheapest cigar like $15, $16. Now those guys start to 12, 13. Nice, easy approach. I have no idea how the cigar tastes. I don't think lots of people already smoked them. Maybe the American crowd here, Dexter and some of the other guys will in some point will grab some of those and let me know how they are. I'm curious. I like the combination on the paper, how the blend is combined, and also I want to see how the cigar smoke, and if that would be the first Chinese / Hong Kong cigar which tried to break up the U.S. market. I mean, this for a custom blend cigar, it's pretty solid ash. I'll give you that. As I told you, when you lift the cigar, very rarely you can be disappointed when it's heavy cigar, unless it's something very wrong in the rolling. I mean, when you have the weight, the cigar will be packed, will be nicely packed. Draw is perfect. This is again really really nice draw, not loose, not tight. Literally what I like. Dexter made a nice comment. First Cabanos, now New World. China has handled everything. I mean, I've mentioned it many times in the show. China's trying the approach to jump into whatever they can get tobacco. So I'm going to talk about the Chinese tobacco slightly later in the show. This is something I want to talk about. Robert's asking, what is it? As I mentioned at the beginning, unfortunately, I don't know what's this cigar. I have it from some random sampler from someone. I found it in my humidor. I tried to research any information. Unfortunately, I don't have any information. There's a band which looks like it's been made by some kid with a printer. It's been cut out with scissor and put it on a cigar. It's called Nightmares Until the Light Takes Us. And there's some ghost on the back of the band. I mean, it doesn't look any professional. I'm pretty sure every kid can do it now, especially now with the AI. You can create way more fascinated band. This cigar I have it for about 4 or 5 years. I guess it's probably some shop made it exclusive. You don't wanna. It's just a one-off batch for an event or something like that. Somehow, some of my friends in the US get hands on them and decide to send it because they know I like weird stuff and cigars I cannot find. And on this one, I tried to research any information in Google, in all the AIs and stuff. Couldn't find anything. I don't know if you guys hearing some music, but apparently some of my neighbors have some party. It's a very weird Monday evening party. Anyway, right. Sounds like a cigar for Halloween. I mean, could be. I mean, Halloween. I know lots of people do cigars for Halloween. I mean, tatuaje, gurkha. Um, who else? Viaje do lots of Halloween cigars. Um, it's an interesting idea. You know, you have this period of the month where everything you release as a Halloween, you'll sell it, and this could be actually a would be a nice smoke if I would do the smoke on Halloween. But anyway, I couldn't think of that earlier. Let me check. How is the Halloween this year? Oh, it's Saturday. Okay, then I'm not gonna make a show where I need to put some mask on my face or anything. You know, our show will be on 3rd of November, hopefully. So that's fine. Um, right. I think that's the cover on the Chinese slash Hong Kong shares creating of a cigar or whatever you can call it. Interesting news. I'm pretty sure there will be company, uh, way more companies which will try that kind of stuff. I think the right approach, and I mentioned a bunch of times, the right approach is Chinese to find somehow some collaboration, maybe pay to someone to put his name on the cigar. I know there's a bunch of blenders, bunch of companies which, if they make your cigar, if you pay them enough, you can name it. Oh, this is by this company, by that company. I think this is one of the ways to try to get the market, create a good cigar with some of those people. The problem is, I don't think Chinese people wants to pay extra for that kind of stuff. You know, I recently find out that they've already started approaching different companies in the Central America. We're making cigars and tell them, well, we want to sell your cigars in China, and would you be okay if we can sell them there? You know, distribution and stuff. And if you want to continue conversations, the Chinese offer you uh, what they can do for you. You can send them the raw tobacco, you can send them the recipe, and they say we will roll it and made it for you in China, which doesn't make any sense. I mean, maybe it's cheaper for them if you send them raw tobacco in the recipe and you tell them, hey, you're using this ingredient, this ingredient, and this ingredient, making the cigar. I don't think any respectful any company with self-respect will agree on that. There might be people which doesn't mind, doesn't you know they're okay if you're gonna sell it all in China, you can do whatever you want. But I don't think any proper company will agree on that. Ash is down. Nice crown. It's good cigar. Probably something which costs like $5. It's beautiful. Um, as asking a question, a rebellion tend to release something, but not seen anything this year yet. If you're talking about the English guys, Rebellion, the one with the purple bands, I think they announced. I think that was maybe in the summer, 2 3 months ago. They announced the release on the cigar with one of the strongest men participants, Eddie Hall, the Beast. He's an English lad as well, and I haven't seen the cigar. I've seen it only on the pictures. I haven't seen anyone smoking it. I don't know if they actually released the cigar or that was just a project, very small batch or something. Rebellion and not. I don't think they're on many shops or many places in UK selling them. At least none of the bigger chains are interested in them. I mean, the UK market is very weird, and everyone who think, oh, I'll launch a cigar on the UK market, I'm gonna sell lots of cigars on good price. It's very wrong. Mhm. The most of the main big players, they are usually not interested in new brands unless you're some of their good friends or some of the biggest importers, and which tell you, hey, if you wanna keep supplying, keep buying our cigars, you need to get basically everything from the portfolio. And without the big players, unfortunately, you cannot sell almost anything, or at least you need to do lots of food work, walking around, doing events, representing, talking about your product. And I think that's the problem with the Rebellion. They have their own distribution, their own website, selling cigars, and that's another reason why some of the other guys wouldn't touch them. I don't know if this is the cigar you are asking. I know I even saw them on in Dortmund, so they try to have a stance in different places. I know they launch cigars in the US as well. I don't know how that work. Is he popular? I haven't seen him in almost any places. Occasional half will post about him when they have some major news, or when half will do the tour on the shows and talking about who's on that rate show, who's whatever new companies, etc. Um, I smoke few of their cigars. It's not something I'm very interested to carry on doing it. So they're not such cigars which suit my palate and make me to want to smoke more of them. So again, I don't know. I don't know much about that. As I mentioned, they were in Dortmund. I didn't go to their stand because I didn't have the time first to wander around that much, and I pick which stands I want to visit and which people I want to talk and communicate. So I just don't have the time to go and see them. Right. Um, as I said, this is basically most of the news section. There's not many news this week. There's not that many exciting stuff, but I'm sure when I do the next live, there will be lots of news to discuss because there won't be lives in the next 2 weeks. I'm guys not at home. Especially next week, I'll be somewhere between airports and stuff in Monday. Week after, I potentially can sit down somewhere on the beach and do live, but I think it's time for me to have a little rest off of everything, to switch off from everything, and just enjoy my time with my wife. So yes, we're gonna talk now for some of the cigars in my selection. But yeah, before that, the next I'll probably say that one more time towards end today. The next episode of the Late Smoke will be on 20th of October. So there will be no show on 6th. There will be no show on 13th, and we'll be back on 20th of October. I'm pretty sure there will be lots of news until then. I mean, this is already almost 3 weeks. I can probably tell you how is the cigar scene in some of the other countries. Tom's saying Fuente Opus X La Edición de la Sociedad. I mean, that's a new release. I usually I usually don't talk about every release. If you want my opinion on Opus X La Edición de la Sociedad, it's another fancy ass cigar which doesn't worth the money they ask for. Um, I haven't smoked it. I don't think I will ever smoke it. I'm not the guy who pay $90 for that kind of cigars. The interesting thing on this release is the packets. They put it in a boxes of three, I believe, which I haven't seen lots of people doing. Coffins or boxes of three. They do tins, but not boxes of stuff. Um, it's one of the projects for Mani Iriarte, Opus Society thingy. The guys actually have a booth in Dortmund. I love the packaging. Again, it's for me. Some brands maybe that's why they're expensive, because their packaging is like out of this world. And the Opus X Society with all those yellow, blue colors, the box, the presentation, the bands is phenomenal. Maybe that's why the cigars are like 90 or 100 or I don't know, $120, whatever the price is. Just I think it's they undisclose the blend, but I think this is pretty much the same Opus blend. I mean, I have theory. I've always have it, but I usually doesn't talk about it. I mean, but now again, it's no problem to share it. It's only 5 6 people watch it, so I don't think it's a big deal. So I have a theory for a while where when some a brand release that kind of cigar. So let's say in this case, as an example, Opus standard Opus released is I think is something like $30 MSRP. Of course, we can't find them on that money, but let's say you pay $50 for Opus X, and then they release something like this one, for example, La Edición de la Sociedad, or something like that, and the price is twice or even triple the what they ask for the standard release. My theory is, and especially when they undisclose, even if they disclose the blend, they say, oh, they mention in the same list as the standard one. In this case, they don't disclose it, but I think in many cases, maybe someone not, but in many of those cases, the cigars are exactly the same as the standard ones. Just change the packaging, maybe the size a little bit, and it says, "Oh, it's a brand new blend. It's very different." Um, and I don't know. I don't think lots of people will find out the difference. First, because you need to smoke lots of those cigars to say, "Hey, this is the same cigar." And because the price is so expensive, and the people who are actually paying those prices, let's say €140 in this case, I don't think they care much about blends and stuff. They just buy the cigar first of all because the band. You buying the brand, the band. You buying the, oh, this is an Opus X Sociedad, blah blah blah, yada yada. Um, if someone is so rich, I mean, I've seen so many Instagram videos recently from what was the rapper, the big rapper name? He's very big in the Opus, and he keep promoting them. And he DJ Khaled. He was posting all the time boxes, even helicopter bringing boxes of Opuses and stuff like that. I mean, okay, he can afford it. I mean, probably he can, every cigar he smoke, he can be like €140. But I don't think he care about what's in the cigar. Maybe he just liked the packaging, he liked the idea, or if I'm gonna smoke, I'll smoke the best. And without probably, I mean, the most well known, the most close to luxurious product and item and brand in from Dominican Republic, that's Fuente. That's Fuente and Davido for the two, which are the most prestigious. And if you try to see how many people which are open to be shown, famous people which be openly shown with cigars and stuff, like Madonna have a picture with Davidoff's. This guy have DJ Khaled have a Fuente and Opus stuff. I mean, they won't pick. They will not pick like I don't know, LFD or La Galera. They're Dominican, and I think LFD make the banging cigars. But LFD's most expensive cigar is like $30. And for some of those people, I don't think it's prestigious. Same with their watches, trainers. I mean, I like trainers, and some of the trainers I've seen as the releases. I mean, I love them, I like them, but they're like tens of thousands. I don't think they will last more than $100 trainers. So there we go. Dexter is a rich guy. He managed to get hands of three of the Opus X Angel Share Double Corona. I never seen this Vitola for sale in the wild. There we go. Enjoy. Hopefully they're good. If you bought them on the retail, that's what's that, tin of three, $20-30 MSRP, maybe 40. I'm not sure the Angel Share Double Corona. That's probably slightly more expensive than the standard one. But yeah, my opinion is it's fancy packaging, fancy boxes, maybe the same blends, and because not many people can smoke them, limited availability, limited. Obviously, it's very expensive, and not many. If some specialist, let's say some of the biggest blenders in the world, they decide to smoke and see if the same blend, they need to smoke more cigars. They can't just smoke one cigar and say, hey, this is the same as this Opus I smoked in 2017 in this lounge in Florida, or blah blah blah. No. There we go, 46 a piece. I mean, I wouldn't buy them even if I see them on that price, but again, I try to be reasonable and not spend crazy money on new releases and cigars. That's anyway. Um, so yeah, let's talk about some cigars I have here. Of course, guys, if you have any stuff to talk about, just throw it in the chat. I love switching off from my topics because I don't have a scenario. I don't have anything written. I have some bullet points of to not forget to talking about the some of the topics, but my bullet points are literally 3 rows on you. I mean, each topic is just a few words, just to not forget about it. So if you have anything shoot in the wild, just do it. Again, there's no scenario in my shows, and I don't believe in that. I mean, for me, it's more authentic when I don't have scenario. Even when we were recording back in the time, the proper videos, the proper interviews with Cigar Inspector, with the cigar runs, it was the same. We decided to have a live, let's say, next week, and excuse me, we decided to have a live next week, and I on purpose didn't ask what would be the topic, what we're going to talk about. I literally was arriving like 2 hours before we go live. We have a catch up, we have a cigar, maybe a food or something, and then we discuss, okay, what we're going to talk today. And usually Usman or Alex, the guys who are part of the channel, they were, okay, today's topic is this and that. I said, okay, let's do it. And again, I feel it more right, more authentic, instead of I having like questions beforehand and prepared answers. And I don't know. I was on a bunch of different podcasts in the years. I mean, not a big ones or anything, but just some random podcasts. And on one of them, they sent me like 15 questions beforehand. So I can read and I can prepare my answers and everything. And I was like, it was very weird. So I read the questions, think of what I would answer. And when we will start the interview after that, it was a live show. So it's not recorded where we can stop and edit and stuff. So it was live show, live podcast. And they asked me a question and I completely forgot what I'm going to answer. So I was just improvised as well. It was the same, that question, I don't know what I was answering. I was just same improvisation. I knew the questions, but my answer were completely different than what I was thinking I will answer. So yeah, there's no scenario, there's nothing prepared. It's all raw, unedited. That's how I like it. Again, it is plenty of other guys who do a written scenario. They follow it. They read exactly every single word from a paper. If you like them, there's no problem. I'm just not one of them. Okay, let's move to some of the cigars, some of the brands I want to show you. The first one, as I promised earlier, is this piece. Yes, it's Chinese. As you know, we're on the letter G, and it's time to show you some of the cigars with the G. This is a Great Wall cigar. So Great Wall cigar, this is one of their packaging. It's a 4-pack. I have only one cigar left here. I'll show you the cigar. There we go. It's like a Petit Robusto style. The cigar is in a. I don't think this is a cellophane. For me, this is a proper plastic. They have even this. I don't know what you call this foil where you just pull it from here and you open it. But yeah, Bant is very plasticky as well. Shame because the box looks so cool and then inside is yeah. So I smoked few of those. When we were in China, we managed to get them. It was very boring cigar. Let's call it that way. I mean, I don't want to say bad stuff, but it was absolutely no flavors or anything. which is very very unusual, because sometimes, okay, there's a flavors maybe you don't enjoy, there's aroma, there's a taste, maybe bitterness or something. This one was completely flat. It's like, that's how I would imagine if I smoke cigarettes. I've never smoked cigarettes, but I would say I was thinking maybe a cigarette would be completely flat of flavors. Maybe everything flat. I mean, it's like smoking a ash, or I call it second-hand cigar. You smoke it once, you get all the nice flavors and aroma, then you manage to pack it again and you smoke it again. So it's a little bit controversial. So Great Wall cigars. Let me give you a brief story on Great Wall. Great Wall cigars claim to be the oldest cigar producer in China. Even on the paper here, it says since 1918. But when we were in China, I was asking around. Apparently, they say 1918 because that's one of the oldest cigar tobacco producing fields in China. But no one seen, no one knowing them for making cigars since 1918. They actually start making cigars in the 1950s. So, but of course, you want to try to go on the international market, you need history, and that's why they put like since 1918. But the reality is 1952 or 1954, something like that. So they create this myth, this great story. We are 100 years old because obviously a few years ago they released a special edition 100 years old cigar, made for the 100th anniversary. Well, no such a thing like 100th anniversary, no, at least in the next 30 years. So in China, there are 5 big manufacturers at the moment. They're all tight and controlled by the government. Great Wall, the biggest one. I think Great Wall have about 50% of the domestic market of Chinese cigars. So I think the Chinese market at the moment is something around 30 million cigars. And Great Wall have like 50% of that. So 15 million cigars is a very big number for cigar company. I mean, there's lots of non-Cuban cigar companies which doesn't go to that number. So they have a nice production in Chengdu. That's where the factory. They obviously in this cigar, I believe this is mostly made for the domestic market. So this packaging is not for the international one. This is all domestic. In the domestic one, they try to use more of the Chinese tobacco. In the international production, international lines, they try to use more Dominican and Honduran. I know they have some Brazilian as well now. I don't think they use Nicaraguan at the moment. I mean, I don't know any single Asian producer who have Nicaraguan tobacco. Maybe the Nicaraguans don't want to sell yet to the Chinese. So far, I've smoked, I reckon, about 10 or 12 Great Wall cigars. I've never smoked, I actually smoked one other brand, only one cigar. I don't remember much. I remember it was a different, not a Great Wall. But everything I smoked from Great Wall, I think only 1 or 2 cigars was actually very decent. The rest was just blunt. Even we did a cigar with Usman. We did a live show, which unfortunately was deleted because that's what caused a few issues for his company back in the time, and they asked to delete the live. But we were reviewing Great Wall cigars on this live, and he managed to find obviously Great Wall kind enough to send him a bunch of cigars, and they sent him their master premium ultra expensive cigar. It was something like $160-$170 a piece. It came in a coffin. Each cigar have individual written message and number engraved on the tobacco with laser or something like that. It looked very cool. I mean, very unique. Like we have package of 4. Every cigar was different. The message was different engraving. So someone spent time to engrave and compose that message on the cigar. It's something like the Chinese cookie fortunes. If you know, when you eat the Chinese food, you always grab the cookie fortune. At least, I mean, my kids and stuff, they love doing those cookie fortunes. And that was the same on the cigar. So you open the cigar and then it's a message engraved on the cigar. So nice presentation, beautiful coffin, wooden coffin. 100 and I don't know, $70 I don't remember what was exactly, but something in that range. And the cigar was blunt. Honestly, it was so boring. I think Guzman liked a little bit his, but there was a draw issues on his cigar, so it wasn't that perfect as well. Um, But I think it's a matter of time, China, or especially Great Wall, to start succeeding. I mean, lots of people are pessimistic here. They don't believe in that. But I seen when I was in China, I was surprised how ahead are they in many aspects. And I think the cigars is just a matter of time, maybe a decade. I mean, I don't think I'll remember in a decade that show when I was talking here, but I think in something like 2030, 2033 as a years, China will already have some cigars in different markets. US maybe not that much, but international, like Europe, other countries, they will be there. Is for them is every time they start something, they try to copy, they take in different ideas, they try to do it better than others. For the moment, it's a little bit complicated, but sooner or later, I mean, they have the climate. So if they use the climate right, they have the climate. Maybe not many volcanoes in China. I don't know if there's any volcanoes in China. I haven't heard of, but they have the climate, the terroir. Okay, not every country which produce tobacco have the volcanoes. They used to have it in the back. Climate is good. They can invest in technologies and everything where they can help. They can invest in people. They can invest in getting the right seeds, the right variety of tobacco, aging and stuff. It's just a matter of time, but we'll see. For the moment, it's a no go for me. Of course, I'm happy to try something new, but what I've tried so far, it's all right. Some of the cigars that you mentioned, there's a couple of decent ones, and the rest was just meh, not for me. Um, right, next one. So there will be lots of underdog cigars today. The next few brands, they're pretty much, for me, are very underrated, very underestimated cigars. Um, anyway, let me just check how is the comment section. Okay, there's a few likes, and yeah, there we go. The next one, very, very simple brand. It says Guaymaro. Guaymaro. I don't know how you pronounce that. For me, it's Guaymaro. Let me see if we can focus. Just a white band. No focusing. Of course, my head is too big. Guaymaro. Box press, Robusto, Dominican flag on this side. So this is a very, very good cigar. As I mentioned, it's one of the underdogs. So Guaymaro is actually made in Nicaragua. I don't know why they have the Dominican flag there. But this is a cigar brand owned by Esteban Lisla. And Esteban Lisla is the gentleman who is probably one of the most responsible people behind the Roma Craft and everything coming out from Nica Sueño. That's the Roma Craft factory, Poispiech, Postanie, all those brands which are made by Roma Craft or Nica Sueño. Esteban Lisla is the main mastermind behind. So this is his brand. Of course, it's made by Roma Craft using some of their tobaccos, but it's in the same style. So the cigar is very similar to Roma Craft. It's a very, again, underrated underdog. I don't think many people know the brand. They've been launched, I think, 7-8 years ago. Stay under the radar because, again, the guy is, maybe he want to do some similar, different project where he won't be that much associated with Roma Craft. He wanna experiment with some stuff, and because Roma Craft is owned by different people, he's just I think he's one of the people who work there. Maybe they give him some freedom so he can play around with the blends. I think this is the only blend he do. A few different sizes: Toro, this Robusto, and I think Corona Gorda. But every of those Guaymaro I've smoked, they were very good cigars. So if you like Roma Craft style cigars, nice, thick smoke, heavy, quite a lot of power and body and strength in those cigars, this is something you will enjoy as well. Next one. I might remove this one from the paper because it's a beautiful cigar. Let's see how many of you have seen this one. There we go. I'll show you. Let me see. It's one of the most beautiful buns, I think, on the cigar. It's not very focused, but there we go. It's called Sabor de Esteli, Gayakan Sabor de Esteli. Nice, fun tail, pigtail, close foot. This one exists in a Maduro as well. This one is like short Lancero or Lonsdale, maybe you can call it. Any clue, anyone? What is that? I'll explain you, of course, what is it. It's a cigar which I don't think exists anymore because of the name. There was a problem with the name. There's another company which registered this name, Sabor de Esteli. They can't use it, but I believe this was the first blend of the guy who we were talking a little bit earlier in the show. I'll give you another clue. Okay, there's not many people suggesting anyway. So this is a cigar by Noel Rojas, and we already talked about Rojas. I think Tom from Ireland smoking Rojas at the moment. So Noel Rojas, before he created the Rojas as a brand, he was making cigars for different people. I think this is one of the brands he made, Sabor de Esteli. And this was the limited edition size, to be honest. I don't think you can find this size as a standard release back in the time. This was a short Lancero Corona Gorda / 42 ring gauge 6.5 size, pigtail, close foot. Very, very rare to find cigars nowadays. They're old. They don't exist anymore. And everyone was, they were very collectible in some point. If you can find any of those anywhere in the wild, I mean, I know there's probably some random shops in the US where they still stocking those. They have them from a wild back in the time. Just buy them all. I think they're very nice. This is what Rojas, how he started. I mean, nowadays he's developing way much more. He's a way more experienced blender, but this is his first steps in the blending, and I think he did phenomenal job. So, anything you want to try, old stuff from Rojas, this is Sabor de Esteli. Next one. This is a brand which I cannot stand. I have a box. I have a box which is actually very rare box, and I'll explain you why. So this is a Guantanamera as a brand. I have one cigar inside, old band. Those bands are not made before 2010. So this cigar is, I don't know, was that 15 years old at least? The exact age on the box, this is HD on the green, I think was that 2007, 2000 something, 2005, ABC. I think it's 2005, 2006, something like that. So Guantanamera as a brand, there's a Guantanamera made in Cuba, and there is Guantanamera made in not in Cuba, made in the US. It's one of those brands where I don't know why they exist. The Cuban one, we're talking about the Cuban one here. I don't know why they exist. They're so bad, so awful. I don't know who smoked those. Even if you want to try Cuban cigar, maybe don't smoke, save more money, and buy something a little bit different, because this is not how the Cuban cigars taste. And if you guys never smoke a Cuban and you smoke Guantanamera and you think that's how the Cuban cigars taste, that's very wrong. So Guantanamera as a brand, they're a very new brand. They start in 2002 as a brand from the Habanos portfolio. They were using actually tobacco not from Vuelta Abajo, from one of the other Vueltas, and the tobacco is not classed as a top premium class of tobacco from Cuba. And Habanos dropped the brand in 2005, so it was Habanos portfolio only 2002 2005. That's how I know the box is old, because it says Habanos on the new boxes now. It doesn't say Habanos. Um, I think so. I haven't seen that kind of box in ages. So now the brand is not owned by Habanos. It's still Cuban. I mean, some people confusing that Habanos is all the Cuban cigars. No, Habanos is actually work for the Cuba Tobacco, which are owned by the government. And Cuba Tobacco give the cigars to Habanos to distribute them. So Habanos doesn't make cigars. Habanos distributes cigars, but they don't distribute Guantanamera. They distribute by ICT, which is another company in Cuba. I don't know if they distribute anything else, but they usually, the tubes are plastic. They're not metal tubes. They all came in like crystal tubes, whatever they call them, but they're not glass. They're purely plastic. Machine made short filler, but I mean short filler, very very bad short filler. Every time you smoke this, you have you actually eating and chewing more tobacco than you smoking. They're pre-cut. Your mouth is full of tobacco. Most of them are pre-cut. I think the bigger size is not, but all the smaller sizes are pre-cut. Your mouth is full of tobacco. You ended spitting more tobacco than actually enjoying. And this is one of the cigars I said I will never smoke again. I don't care whatever purpose need to be, a review or whatever. I would just not smoke a Guantanamera. I smoked quite enough back in the time. I was thinking this is a Cuban cigar, and I never enjoyed them. There was a couple of people which give me, they do a sample packs with few different sizes. They look nice until the moment you open them and you start smoking them. But they're not cigars I want to smoke. There's a American version, non-Cuban, Guantanamera, which actually is about 5-6 years older than these guys. So for the first time I've seen these guys register brand later than some of the copycat versions. And the Guantanamera, the American Guantanamera, is actually a handmade, very luxurious, very interesting smoke. They did a bunch of different lines, and they are decent smokes. This one is not. If you guys want to give someone a bad joke, buy him Guantanamera. But if you have a little bit of self-esteem and you like yourself a little bit, don't go for this one. I won't say that very often. I always say it's maybe not for me. There's some people who like it, but this is an abomination of a cigar. It shouldn't exist. I don't know who was thinking we can sell this. I wouldn't pay. I mean, you need to pay me to smoke, and I probably wouldn't smoke it again. Now there's adding as a comment, add Quintero to this. With Quintero, I have a different opinion on Quintero. So I would add to this one, JLP. JLP is the same thing. For me, it's tasteless, awful. I know there's people who like them. It's not for me. It's not my thing. Quintero, on the other hand, Quintero is actually, some of the Quinteros are mixed fillers, Cuban sandwiches. So Quintero, most of the time, Quintero is a leftover from some of the other blends. And there's occasions where Quintero tastes actually very nice. I mean, it's not Cohiba. It's not Partagas Monte Cristo Romeo. It's way lower in class and cheaper cigar. But if you want to see how Cuba tastes before you spend $50 or £50 for a decent Cuban smoke, Quintero can be an option, but you never know what you're smoking in Quintero. I mean, I have a few years ago, someone gave me a pack of 3 Quinteros Turbos. I think Favoritos. I don't remember what size it was. It was one of the chunky Robustos. I was like, I haven't smoked Quinteros in years, but I'll give it a go. Smoked the first one, was tasteless. Nothing you want to smoke again. I smoked the second one not long after, maybe a few months after that. Second one was actually not a bad cigar. It was enjoyable. Nothing too complex, but it was a cigar which, if it's like $5 or £5 or €5, I'll be like, okay, I'll give him that. €5 worth the money. I still haven't smoked the third one. I'll smoke it in some point. See how is that after a few years already. I think well that was shortly after COVID, so it's now like 4 or 5 years age. So maybe it will be a good one. But Quintero is uh, for the American crowd. What I can compare Quintero, it's probably factory smokes from Dure State. Factory smokes. It can be a decent blend, just leftover. It can be something very awful. I mean, most of the factory smokes I smoke, I wouldn't want to. I don't want to repeat them. But there was a few occasions where I would say, I mean, this is a dollar cigar, $1.50. For that money, you can actually taste something. Mixed filler, short filler, but actually taste something. So the Quintero, that's my opinion on the Quintero. Um, you don't need to agree on that, but I would say from all those what they call them budget lines, international Cuban stuff, the only thing worth smoking is Quintero. I wouldn't touch JOP. I wouldn't touch Guantanamera. Quintero Vigueros is very good. I like Vigueros, which is classed as a similar style. There's a bunch of other Flor de Canos and stuff, which I probably wouldn't go for. Fonseca is another one which I probably more likely will not go for Fonseca. Some old Fonsecas was decent, but the new ones never smoke a decent one. But anyway, that was too much time on the Guantanamera. Last brand for tonight. It's one of the very interesting bands. I won't be lying. I love the band. The brand is called Gunslinger. It's a nice skull with a cowboy hat, and there's guns there. This is the line called Perdition. They did a bunch of different lines. This is the only one I have left. I used to have the whole sampler in a different sizes. I reckon this is probably 5, 6, maybe 7, 8 years of age. Cellophane looks already quite oily and darker. This was a custom brand made for Outlaw Cigar Company in Kansas, in Missouri. They're one of the shops where they launch that kind of white labels. I believe most of their cigars are made by AJ Fernandez in Nicaragua. This one is, of course. So yeah, decent smokes. There's not much information. Again, there's not much fun stuff on that one. It's a white label made for one of the cigar shops in the US. I don't know if they're still around. I haven't seen Gunslinger cigars in the wild. Maybe they sell them only in the shop now. They don't do it to other distributors, to other shops and stuff. I've never been in that place in the world where they make them, where they selling them. So who knows? But it's another piece of the collection, another beautiful looking cigar. So Nadir says he don't mind changing always Cubans for Vigueros. Hey, Vigueros are very underrated cigars. I don't mind Vigueros. From all the full bodies Cuban cigars, maybe Cuiba Maduro 5, Cuiba Beike, and then Vigueros. Those are the ones I would like. I mean, this might sound controversial, especially for the people who smoke lots of Cubans, but I don't enjoy that many Partagas, Ramonillones, Bolivars. There's a few of those cigars, few of those brands which have a decent lines, but to say, hey, Bolivar is my favorite brand, nah. And Vigueros, most of the Vigueros I smoke, they're pretty decent. Enough strength, enough taste. Construction is usually on point. So there we go. So next, on the next show, when we're going to talk about the selection from my humidor, we're going to finish with the G. Of course, we're going to talk about Gurkha. That's the last cigar with the letter G. And then we're going to talk about some Cuban brands. There's a letter H. There's a couple very big and very interesting Cuban brands, and I'm going to show you some interesting cigars from them. But yeah, that will be in a few weeks' time. And there we go. It's already an hour, already 5 minutes past 9. I wasn't thinking I'm going to have enough stuff to talk about today because of the shorter news section, but with a few of the questions from you guys, we managed to get it to a decent conversation. Gurkha, yes, finally. I know you're probably excited on Gurkha, but trust me, I rant more on El Septimo. Then I will rant on Gurkha. Jacob is, I know you're a fan of me ranting. I always add a little bit of rant section in the show. Today, the rant was all about the legislations in the US and Arizona and blah, blah, blah. But okay, Ali asking, speaking of strength, what's the strongest premium cigar on the market? I'll give you a few. I don't know. I mean, for me, strength probably work different than other people. The more we're talking about strength, and the more I discuss with friends, especially people I trust their palate, and they won't lie me, oh, this is a good cigar and it's a shitty cigar or anything. I think every person have a different resistance on a strength based on what kind of tobacco and where the tobacco is coming from. I don't know if I explained that right, but let's say for me, the strongest cigars, the strongest tobacco coming from Nicaragua. Um, I know a couple of good friends where they cannot stand the strength of the Honduran tobacco. For me, I don't remember smoking a very strong Honduran cigar. Anything you can imagine, Plasencia 149 is probably one of the strongest Honduran cigar, but still not close to some of the Nicaraguan. Dominican strong. I mean, LFD have Double Ligero, which is one of the strongest cigars on the market, but it's not close to the Nicaraguan strength. So for me, I think my personal palate, the Nicaraguans hit me proper. The other countries never managed to hit me. Even Cuba, for me, I'd never smoked a Cuban cigar, which even make me to think it's the strongest. So, in my opinion, the strongest cigars I smoked in the last few years, um, Espinosa. Espinosa have a line called 601 La Bomba Warhead. So 601 La Bomba is a standard line. The Warheads is a limited release every year. Now I think it's 11th or 12th year. Every year they release it in a different size. I believe it's the same blend. So the Warheads are super strong cigars, in my opinion. They are literally, every time I grab a Warhead, I like, this will be strong. I knew, and usually they were disappoints. Another very strong line. This is Black Label Trading Company Morphine, Morphine and Bishop blend. They're both really strong, but we're talking about the standard Bishop blend, not the limited release, the 10th anniversary, the Nevam de Oles. But Morphine, it's a very strong cigar. Black Label usually variate around the stronger side of the cigars, but those two are exceptional strong. Um, Another quite strong line, Roma Craft Cro-Magnon, not the Aquitaine, the Cro-Magnon, the one with the black band, and also the Neanderthal, the one with the orange band. Those are very strong. I have one of my very best friends. He's a massive Roma Craft fan. He smoked predominantly Roma Craft. We always have the discussion. For him, the orange one is stronger than Neanderthal. I think the Cro-Magnon, the black one, is stronger, but that's lots of punch there. Aganorsa released a rare leaf Maduro. That was the last cigar was actually make me wobbly. It was, I smoked it last year, and it was super strong cigar. Um, the My Father Le Bijou, I don't find them that strong. They are very peppery. So if your body think the pepper is the strength, I can agree there. They're very peppery, like some of the AJ Fernandez stuff. But strength wise, as a nicotine, I don't think Le Bijou is even close to be one of the top strength cigars. Um, Especially the new ones. The new ones, there's always some issues on the new ones, but I don't think it's a very strong cigar. Padron, another one. Padron, there we go. Robert mentioned Padron Maduro. Always have a kick. I wouldn't say all the Padron Maduros, but the 1964s, 1926, the Maduro versions, like the 50th anniversary, the 80th, they have a serious kick in there. Proper strength. And this is just the top of my head. I mean, Plasencia Alma Fuerte, it's a stronger cigar. Not like 10 out of 10, but it's close out there. Andalusian Bull actually can be a very strong cigar, depend how you smoke it. So the Andalusian Bull, I've seen people smoke Andalusian Bull for an hour. And if you smoke that in an hour, I guarantee you're going to feel the strength. But if you smoke it, for me, it's 3 hours, 3 hours and a half. I don't feel it strong for 3 hours, but smoke it in an hour, rush it a little bit. And because it's very tight on the top, that will feel the strength, in my opinion. There's so many. I mean, I probably can think for um, more, but those are very top of my head. Those are cigars I always treat with more respect when I'm about to smoke some of those because I've been exposed to their strength before, and I don't smoke them often. Um, but I'm always careful when I have one of those. Mentioning those, actually, I prepare my holiday selection cigars I'm gonna bring with me in the on the holidays, and I have one of the warheads, so that will be probably the strongest cigar I have on the trip with me. But we'll see when I'm gonna smoke it. Maybe in Italy somewhere. Anyway, I think it was a really nice show. I'm very very happy of the chat today, guys. I appreciate all the comments, all the everything basically you throw in the chat. I like when you're active and when you throw any other suggestions, topics, and everything. Um, keep visiting the website. I appreciate everyone who's making a like in the social media. Visit the websites. Um, will I smoke Toscano? Of course, I have some Toscanos with me. I actually like Toscanos. Toscanos for me are very interesting smokes. And I always say, if you haven't smoked a Toscano, definitely try Toscano at least once in your life. It's not for everyone, but in my opinion, it's a very interesting cigar with a lot of interesting flavors and aromas. Toscano, Toscanello, any of those you manage to grab. So I think a very nice smokes. And I have one of my Toscanos. I think smoked it on the live a couple months ago. I prepared one of them in the stuff. So when I'm in Italy, I'm gonna light the Toscano for sure. I don't know if there will be any cigar shops around me. I'll be in a very remote area, so I won't go on for cigars. I actually have a suitcase full of cigars, so I'll bring all kind of stuff. I'll try to post some reviews when I'm abroad. I already have a bunch of cigars I want to review, and when I have time in the evenings and stuff, I'll probably smoke and add some reviews. There will be some articles I'm already working on them. I'll be posting them as usual every few days. Last night I posted some interesting rumor if you haven't seen it. But yeah, once again, the next show will be 20th. So not in next week, not week after, in 2 weeks time, 3 weeks time. Um, Someone suggested at the beginning about live curve, live chat, online curve. I'm open, but please, if you want to do it, make sure suggest me some dates, and only if you're 100% sure you can attend, because I don't want to block time and no one's coming to the chat and do the live again. If it's interesting, I can do it. It's not an issue. We'll pick up a date when everyone is, or at least more people are happy to do it, and then we can smoke and talk about random stuff. And I think on this note, I'm gonna leave you all. Thank you very much for all the good words. Literally need a good holiday, and I will see you all in a few weeks' time. Behave, smoke your cigars, and yes, nos vemos. Yes, appreciate the days, appreciate all the smokes. Throw me suggestions, comments, everything in all the social media. I'm usually responding quickly, and I'll see you all in a few weeks' time. Until then, stay smoky. Tomorrow's never given, and smoke your cigars, please. Don't just keep them on the shelves in the humidors. Blah blah blah. Yada yada. Good night, guys. Have a great week.